Hi everyone and welcome to the video about how to be a data analyst in 2024. I'm gonna keep things super direct in this video. I have divided the video in three parts. The first part is specifically about the skills that you need in order to be a data analyst. Second part is how to crack the interview once you have those skills. And third part is once you get your first job, the things that you should be doing in the first couple of months in order to be a successful data analyst. And let's jump right into it. The first part is the skills that you need in order to be a data analyst. The first thing that you need to have in your arsenal in order to be a really good data analyst is SQL. So companies are generating a lot of data and they're storing this data in databases, and SQL is the language that you use in order to interact with the databases. So SQL is primary, the most crucial and the most important skill that you need to know and you need to have in your resume in order to be a great data analyst. Every data analyst that I know, senior, junior, entry level, mid level, they all use SQL almost 80 to 90% of the day. And let me tell you, SQL is super easy to learn. A person without any technical background can also go and learn SQL in a couple of months. There are a ton of videos available on YouTube, and there are a ton of websites which offer a lot of courses on SQL which you can take in order to brush up and learn SQL. Couple of websites are Coursera, edX, Udemy. These all offer a lot of certification program for a beginner level SQL course which you can go and take, and you can finish it up in like a couple of months and you're gonna be good at SQL. And if you already know SQL, then I would recommend solving problems on Rank or similar website in order to brush up your skill and making sure that you're covering each and every point about SQL. And second technical thing that you need to know in order to be a good data analyst is Excel. Excel is a very old tool, but it is primary tool for every data analyst. You need to know Excel through and through in order to be a good data analyst. You need to know basic formulas of Excel. You need to know how to clean data in Excel. You need to understand pivot tables, how to make pivot tables, and Excel overall will make you a better data analyst. It will also make things easier for you if you understand and know how to use Excel in order to clean or manipulate and visually show your data in Excel. Excel is something everybody's been using for a very long time. This is something you're gonna touch on daily basis at your job. So Excel is more than just rows and columns or sheet. It is much more than that. It is much powerful than that. And there are a ton of videos available on YouTube covering almost every aspect that you need to know about Excel. And I would recommend, as soon as you are having trouble in doing something in Excel, then just go head over to YouTube, type the problem, and you will probably get 100 videos on how to do that thing in Excel. There are a ton of YouTubers who specifically specialize in the world of Excel, and I will also put some of them in the description. So this is something that you should be spending time in learning. Third technical thing that you need to know in order to be a good data analyst is data visualization tool. You will be spending some time almost every day in data visualization tool because you will be creating reports for your stakeholders, for your peers in these data visualization tools. There are two tools which are very famous, that is Power BI and Tableau. I would recommend learning either one of them because if you know one of them, you can easily learn all the other tools because the skills are easily transferable. Data visualization tools are super important. They're more than just drag and drop. You need to understand how to create really good report for your stakeholders which will tell stories very easily about the data. Our stakeholders, they do not understand the technical part of data, so it is very important that you create really useful and good reports in these data visualization tool in order to be a really good data analyst. If you have zero experience about how to make a report in Tableau or Power BI, there are a ton of videos and ton of courses available on YouTube as well as Coursera, edX, Udemy, which you can go and take, and they will really help you. Once you have certification about Power BI or Tableau, you can put that in your resume, which will definitely gonna look really good. And I think Tableau also offers test data set which you can use to create test report, clean it in Tableau, show different visuals on that test data, and that will also look as a project on your resume. With these three things, Excel, SQL, and data visualization tool, you have covered almost everything that you need to know technically about being a data analyst. Now let's jump to the non-technical thing, that is soft skill. Learning technical skills will make you a good data analyst, but if you do not have good soft skills, you can never reach at that level where you want to be. Soft skills are super super important because this is something you're going to be using the most amount of time in your life as a data analyst. You will be interacting with your peers, with your stakeholders on daily basis about either solving a problem or interacting about how to make a report or how to clean data or something or the other. As a data analyst, you will be spending ton of time interacting with your stakeholders, and most of the time stakeholders, they do not know what they want, and it is your responsibility to ask them the questions which help you understand what they're looking for and how you can possibly resolve that problem, or how can possibly you create a report which will resolve that issue. And if you are not interacting with your stakeholder, you will never be able to deliver the best product. As a data analyst, you should be able to tell stories about data, about the product that you're building and how you were able to develop it, your theory behind developing it that way. These all things are very important. You need to know your audience. Most of the time, your stakeholders are not going to be super technical people. So you need to know how to talk to them and how to explain them something super technical in a non-technical way. As a data analyst, you should also be taking out some time in helping your peers. This is also a very important part of your soft skill. If you are not helping your peers, either your impressions not going to look good, or you will not grow in the role of data analyst or even in every job. So having soft skills with technical skills is something which will make you a great data analyst. Now that you have covered all the required skills that you need in order to become a data analyst, let's jump to the second part of the video: what to do once you have those technical skills. So the second part is applying for a data analyst job. So in order to apply for a data analyst job, you need to have a data analyst resume. Building a data analyst resume is very important. You need to mention the correct skills that are required for a particular job. You need to be showing projects which will demonstrate that you have data analysis skills in your resume in order to be considered by the recruiters or by the managers of a particular company. I have seen people who target a particular company. So my recommendation would be, if you have a particular company in your mind where you want to work as a data analyst, then go on LinkedIn, find a person who's already working in that company and is in the same role. Try to connect with them, ask them about their experience, or try to look up their experience and their educational history. This will give you a brief idea about their experience and what they're doing in that particular company. Then go back and try to do a similar project which will give you some experience about how things are done in that particular company. This will also help you crack the interview for that company and possibly land a job. Once you have created the resume, you have applied for a job and you have received the interview, it is very important to practice mock interview. Either schedule a mock interview with your experienced friend who is already working in a data analyst position. Try to schedule some time with that friend of yours and ask the friend to take a mock interview, or pay a company to take mock interviews. It is very important that you are practicing interviews before you actually give an interview. And once you have done enough mock interview and your actual job interview gets scheduled, before you go for the job interview, research about the company, research about the role. Try to go on Glassdoor and find the interview questions which are usually asked for that specific role in that specific company. It is very important that you are spending time in researching about the role, about the company, before you actually go and give your interview. And during your interview, you should know your resume by heart. You should know each and every point. You should be able to answer every question about every project, about every skill that you have mentioned in your resume. And if you are not able to answer any question, it is going to look bad and you possibly may not be get considered for that specific role. Now let's assume that you have received the offer letter, you have accepted it. Now comes the third part of the video: what you should be doing in the initial months of your first job as a data analyst. Once you have joined the company as a data analyst, the first thing you should be doing is connecting with your managers and with your teammates and establish that bond with them. Try to interact with them, schedule a coffee chat with them, try to know how do they function, try to know the project that the team is currently working on. Also ask them about the training and documentation if there is anything available of that sort, so that you can go through it and you can get familiar about the role. This training is going to come super handy and super useful in your future at the company. Second point is connect with your stakeholders. It is very important when you start your job as a data analyst that you know your stakeholders. Try to reach out to them, schedule coffee chats with them, try to know the way they function, try to know what the problems they're currently facing. And once you know all this, and once you have enough experience in the job, try to address those problems for your stakeholders, and this will make them super happy, and this will also make you shine in the role and probably help you grow faster in the role. Third is ask questions and take note. It is very important when you start your first role as a data analyst that you're asking questions. Nobody's gonna feel bad. You will hurt nobody's feeling if you're asking questions, because you're new to the company. It is your responsibility that you ask all the doubts, all the questions that you have, and you take notes about them. These notes, these questions is something which will come super handy and super useful in your future at the company, and this is something that you will be thanking yourself for a very long time if you do that. And finally, and this is probably the most important point, learn the life cycle of the data. Learn about where the data is originating from, where it is being stored, when are the scripts running to clean that data, what time you are receiving the data for your own process, what process are you running, what time is your process running, where are you taking the data from your process, and what time your reports are refreshing. Once you know this timeline, you will be able to resolve most of the problem about data. I have seen so many stakeholders coming to with a lot of questions regarding the data not being visible in the report, and most of these questions are being answered with the timeline and the life cycle of the data. And this is something that you should be doing in the very first month of you joining as a data analyst in a company. And this is how you can be a great data analyst. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment and I will try to answer them to the best of my abilities. And if you like such content, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.